Hi Tamsin,
Hi Alison, how are you?
good, thank you. Today we're talking to Tamsin Caine, and Tamsin is a financial advisor, planner who really specialises in people going through divorce. So we'll go straight into it, Tamsin. Um, when is the best time, do you think, and feel that it's best for someone to engage with a financial planner or advisor on their divorce or separation journey?
Okay, so there are several points that you could engage with a financial advisor or planner. I would suggest that you use a financial planner rather than a financial advisor, and preferably somebody who specialises in divorce so that you know that they understand what you're going through. Um, uh, Traditionally, financial advisors have very much come in right at the end. So you've gone through all the process and you might have a pension sharing order, or you might have a capital order where you're going to get a lump sum and you need to use that to get some income. And those are the times that financial advisors have traditionally got involved in divorce. Financial planners, and I am being quite specific in my phrasing there, financial planners can be really, really useful much earlier on, because they can help you to understand your finances. They can help you to work on a budget. They can help you to understand what a settlement looks like. So for me, right at the beginning is the best point to get a financial planner involved, and they can hold your hand financially all the way through from day one until you come through your divorce and out the other side when you need them to help you prepare for this amazing new chapter you're going to have post divorce.
Yeah, brilliant. I always thought that it was best to, well, people that just got them at the end of it, got someone at the end and they've got that money in their hand. But I've really learned, with doing the group hug stuff, that actually all the way through and from the very beginning, even at the point or even before you maybe see a solicitor, because you need to know what you need. So how do you sort of find out what somebody might need? I mean, rather than just sort of sticking a finger in the air, because that's the other thing. If you don't see somebody, you just sticking a finger in the air and saying, well, I need this much. So how does that work?
So so what a financial planner would help you do is to work out what your costs are going to be, what your expenditure is likely to be in your new life. So it's not about necessarily what your expenditure is today, although if you're wanting to stay in the family home and that's realistic that you could do, then you will need to understand what your bills are at the moment. But we help you to put together an understanding of what your expenditure is. That's really the starting point. And then once the formies have been exchanged, or you've voluntarily exchanged your financial information with your ex-spouse, then we can have a look at what there is, because sometimes you will have to compromise a little bit. We want you to compromise as little as possible, but there is likely to be a little bit of compromise in what your expenditure is once your divorce goes through, compared with perhaps what you were spending beforehand, although it's not always the case.
So do you actually help people with their Form E, filling the Form E in?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
That's
because
tough.
yeah, that could be hard. I mean, if we're working with a lawyer and the lawyer prefers to do it, then we just agree between us who's best placed to do it. But sometimes the family lawyers prefer us to work with the clients on Form Es, because it's our area. We kind of know the right questions to ask and the right information to attach to it.
And I guess that you sort of present everything probably in a way that the judge can understand as well. Because in my own experience, being in front of a judge, sometimes the judges really can't make head and tail of what is going on. These pieces of paper with numbers on them in front of them, especially if you're dealing with, say you're dealing with somebody with assets abroad, and there's, valuations and different currency and all that kind of thing can get really complicated. And in the family court, it's only a certain amount of time that they can look over all this stuff. So I guess you
Yeah.
do that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is really important to get everything properly valued, and I think there is some hesitation by some couples um to present everything, and they're like, oh yeah, I've got an idea of what my ex has got. It's like, you don't need just an idea, you need full clarity, full picture on what your ex's assets are, and full clarity and full picture and full valuations on what you've got, because if you haven't valued it, you don't know what you're giving away.
No, no, exactly. And do you sometimes have people coming to you who have absolutely no idea about finances, pensions, or anything like that? And it's how do you deal with that?
Yeah, really regularly. So what we tend to find in a couple, and I'm sure you'll recognize this, is that in couples, there's usually like the money person and the not money person. So like, I know it's the same with all jobs, isn't it? Like, I know when I was married, like my husband looked after the garden and cut the grass, and I like did the cleaning in the house. It was a real shock when he went and I had to do the mowing the lawn myself. Got gardening now. A man who comes and mows my lawn for me now. Um, but it's a similar sort of thing with money. It's like the person who's better with money, who not even better with money, but the person who kind of naturally sort of falls into place of sorting the bank accounts out, sorting the mortgages out, researching the insurance every year, all those sorts of jobs that are kind of money related tend to fall with one or other person. And so when they get divorced, when that couple divorces, the person who hasn't been looking after any of the money things suddenly has all these jobs that they never had before. And it can be really add to the fear around the whole divorce, because there's a lot of fear anyway, but having not understanding how something works can be really difficult. So we spend some time going through things so that our clients understand what different things are. There's a brilliant guide by Advice Now, which is the Survival Guide to Pensions and Divorce. It's a big orange book. You can download it for free, or you can buy it for 20 quid. I'm nothing to do with this book, by the way. I'm plugging somebody else. Yeah, it's a really, like, I send it to the link to all my clients, because it's really valuable document to start getting your head around pensions and a little bit about how they work. But yeah, we go through them in some detail with our clients to make sure they feel confident and comfortable, especially clients perhaps who are going through mediation, for example. They're going to need to negotiate with their ex themselves. So they need to be in a position where their ex isn't here with the financial knowledge and they're here. We need to have them much closer to evenly balanced, so that when they're going into that negotiation, they're doing it from a point of equality and they know what they're looking for.
Yeah, brilliant. So you must have a really good success story, Tamsin. What's your favourite one?
Do you know what? Yeah, I've probably had a few. It's really difficult to say. I mean, I've got one client who this was the box of tissues that we used for her when she came into my office for the first time. She was in absolute bits. She's a couple of years through the other side of her divorce now. And she's absolutely flying. She's setting up a practice in doing some work with people who've gone through some narcissistic abuse themselves. So she's an absolute dream. She's doing really, really well, and she's as I say, she's really flying. She's going to buy a camper van and go traveling around in it. So she's really great. Yeah, and loads of them who you kind of hold their hand through the horrible times, and you get to witness the amazing times the other side. So those are really great successes, and where people are really not feeling confident about going into, as I say, going into negotiations and mediation, and then they come out and they've gone in and put their point forward, and they come away from it having a really successful mediation, and there's no need for courts and so on. Those are always success, because they're successful for the whole family, because they stop mum and dad having to go and battle in court, which we want to avoid at all costs.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So have you got one final sort of top tip on how to deal with your divorce?
Oh, top tip on how to deal with divorce, crikey. Don't rush would be my big tip. It's not a race. You don't, the day you decide to divorce, or the day your ex decides that they want a divorce, you do not need to rush to the lawyer's office on that day. Take your time, get your mental health and your emotional well-being sorted first. So one of the amazing divorce coaches that are in the group hug, or a counsellor or a hypnotherapist or psychologist, anybody who can help, get your head sorted first, and then worry about the practical stuff after.
Yeah, lovely. Well, thank you, Tamsin, for your tips there and telling us a bit more about how to deal with your finances on divorce. It's been great, and we're really pleased that you're in the group hug and supporting everybody. We'll be hearing more from you in the future with other videos, I'm sure. So thank you, Tamsin.
Absolutely, no problem. Thanks for having me, Alison.